Yeah. Um, there's two things that I want to bring up here. And then we can get to the one good thing. Um, I don't know when the last time you had just a regular Coke was. Just a regular red can of Coke. This is horrible. Like,
Is
this
it pretty beast?
tastes so
Oh,
bad. No, it's horrible. It literally has 5 ingredients. It has carbonated water, high fructose corn syrup, caramel, phosphoric acid, natural flavors, and caffeine. And somehow all of those flavors put together taste like you mixed Tide laundry with bleach, and and it just tastes like you're killing yourself. That's what this can of Coca-Cola tastes like. This can of Coca-Cola tastes like you're killing yourself when you're drinking it. It's so bad, and I don't know how people drink like 4 cases of this. Like, I honestly do think that the zero sugar Coke and the Diet Coke flavor, they had to specifically change it to taste better because it sells better, right? Like, you want your better selling Coca-Cola to taste better. And if your
yeah. I would. I
regular
would.
Coke isn't selling as much as your other Coke, you're probably aren't as worried as it tasting as good, because this tastes horrible, like
Yeah.
actually horrible, and it makes me grimace every time I taste it. Like, oh, this is like, it tastes expired. How does Coca-Cola taste expired? And I know that there
Would
are
you rather have an
mofos out
RC
there like
cola?
in their 70s and all of age ranges. I know that there are mofos out there who buy like 4 cases of this at a time. 4 cases.
There's somebody out there that on their if they were to have a final meal, their accoutrement to their meal would be a Coca-Cola original. That's how heavy some people mess with Coca-Cola. Are you saying you'd rather have an RC Cola than a Coca-Cola? Or you're not quite that desperate?
I would have to, yeah. I would have to have an RC Cola again, I think. But right now, yeah. Right now, give me anything
RC
other
Cola,
than this Coca-Cola. Because this Coca-Cola tastes horrible.
RC Cola,
And RC Cola
RC
can't
Cola,
taste as bad as
honestly,
this. I'm sorry.
RC Cola honestly sounds like something that is probably not legal to sell in California. I don't know why. It just sounds like something they're like, yeah, that nonsense isn't allowed here. What is your other piece of
Well,
news
it's
you
a
have
Royal
for me?
Crown, right? Isn't it Royal
soda
Crown?
wise, I've
Coca-Cola.
it is Royal Crown. We talked about this recently. I'm not a big soda guy, but I've been on a major kick of sugar-free ginger ale. I'm sure it's just like chemicals in a cup, but boy, is it delightful. Put a little grenadine in that. You got yourself a drink.
Wait, what type of ginger ale? You having the sugar-free ginger ale or just the regular ginger ale?
Yeah, I'm watching my calories. The sugar-free.
You always watch your calories. I don't know when there's been a time when you've said, "Yeah, I've just been eating whatever, drinking. I've just been drinking whatever."
I've just been eating whatever
you
I
watch
want.
your calories as much as you watch your wallet. Yeah, I've never heard you say,
Well,
"Yeah, I'm just going crazy. I'm just having a ton of stuff." Like,
Well, for the record, I do watch my calories. But a lot of the times just watching the calories go in my mouth because I am still a chunky monkey.
oh, I know that you.
But
I know you watch those, but guess what, everybody, folks at home? This man has a bag full of Pop-Tarts and a bag full of little bags of Cheez-Its and those chips hanging from his doorway in his pantry, okay? Because I've been at that house.
hanging up in my closet.
Okay? He doesn't all just have a bunch of fruit lying around. It's not like one of those houses you go to. Yeah, it's not one of those houses you go to when you look into the fridge and the cabinet. And it's like, I don't even know what to snack on here. There's seeds, and there's like pumpkin. No, this man has like 4 boxes of Pop-Tarts.
You just got to
Tons of
poke
bags of
around
Cheez-Its.
for the good stuff.
You do have to find it. It's a little hidden. It's probably because Mr. Kitty has to be hidden from it. You think Mr. Kitty likes
Speaking of,
Pop-Tarts?
Probably. I just made some cinnamon rolls and I can't keep the fucker out of them while they're cooling off.
Hell yeah.
Anyways, what is your other second piece that you'd like to share besides Coca-Cola?
My other piece I would like to share is that both of us have seen what many people might call the best movie of the year so far. We saw The Odyssey. This is kind of our, and this is why we're doing this episode, is probably to talk about The Odyssey in length, and maybe to talk a little bit about what makes like a masterpiece. That could be kind of interesting. Because I'm honestly kind of surprised about how much people liked it, and how many people think it's like a 5 out of 5. One of his greatest movies. Like, you know, I understand it. I kind of understand after seeing it, kind of it being one of the best of the year, and in terms of blockbusters, you know, and kind of how big it feels, and at that scale. But it is an interesting one to talk about, in my opinion. Where to me, it's a weird. It's a kind of a weird. I'm surprised at how much kind of everybody seems to kind of universally agree it's really, really, really good, and is super good. I'm like one step below that, and we'll talk about it a little bit. But I'm like, hey, that was good. I wasn't that like, oh, this is a capital N masterpiece. Thrilling.
Well, you're only I mean, before we even get into it, I think one reason, while we are on this train of thought, that it's being received so well is that it is a story that is pretty well told, at least for our, I don't know if they still teach the Odyssey, but we had to learn at least part of the Odyssey and the hero's journey in school. And so I was already familiar with barely even needing to brush up on anything. And then it's been depicted multiple times in media, like "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?" So like the story, but I also tend to think that's possibly why it's not going to go down as one of Christopher Nolan's best movies, is because it's an established story adaptation. Much like I think it'd be asinine for someone to say that Oppenheimer is his best movie because it's a biopic. It's just a matter of, you know, he made some artistic decisions in the Odyssey, but as a whole, he wasn't going to change, you know, major plot points by adding. He had to withhold things, but he didn't like necessarily add anything too crazy.
You know, there are some people who think Oppenheimer is his best movie, and this movie is like his second best movie, and that he's currently in like his best form that he's ever been in. With in like the 2020s is his best form. There are people that think that, and I don't. But
do you know that there's been?
I get it because it's like his biggest scale. You know,
yeah. There's people that have been caught making meth in ceilings at Walmart. So to believe what some people say, like I don't get too caught up in that.
Come on now, man. Yeah, it's interesting, but because the grand scale of it is amazing. I guess there's never been a fully shot on IMAX movie before this, which is kind of interesting. His movies have had IMAX scenes in them since at least I know for sure The Dark Knight Rises, because you can tell when there's a ton of aspect ratio changes in The Dark Knight Rises if you watch it again. I feel like there might have been some in Inception, but I could be wrong, and maybe there's some in The Dark Knight where I don't remember them being in IMAX, but they are. I don't know. I just can't. I don't really remember those too well where it's obvious. I know in The Dark Knight Rises, it's really obvious when it's in IMAX and when it's not.
We also didn't. I mean, in terms of when it came out, we also didn't have an IMAX. We had the Des Moines Science Center, but it didn't frequently show movies, I don't believe. Those were the only theaters growing up for when those movies came out that we would have. Like, I remember maybe a Spider-Man being shown at the IMAX and at the Science Center, but other than that, you know, the IMAX is just something that you'd read about on the internet.
That's true. To be fair, we did have the IMAX. I think IMAX. There's one in the Jordan Creek theater. The Jordan Creek XD theater had IMAX, I think.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So it was just one. You know, because I live in, the thing is, but we can
Mhm.
talk, it's kind of an interesting IMAX little thing here, but because I live in California, I live in Los Angeles, and like every single movie theater here has IMAX. So IMAX is pretty dang normal here. Like it doesn't feel like it's a big special event, but for you, it is. Like for you, it's almost like you had
Yeah.
like there was maybe like 2 to 3 IMAX screens in your state, which is so weird to think about. Like,
I know that Chattanooga in Nashville, I believe. I know Chattanooga has one that's like the actual aspect ratio, maybe. But we just opened up one about 30 minutes from here. And it opened up for the first showing of it being a theater for the Odyssey. And so not only is the Odyssey a super popular movie that is selling very well, this people are just excited that there's an IMAX. So like today, even if I tried to go to the noon 3:15 or the 6 o'clock showing, the only seats that would be available would be the first row. And even when it comes showtime, those usually go down to like a couple tickets available, which is crazy to me. So I experienced it different than Chase. Chase has seen it in IMAX, and I saw it with the reduced ratio, which you can kind of tell. I was looking on like YouTube and some different scenes of what I saw versus what you saw. Obviously, the story is the same. It's just you miss a like a chunk of field of vision, essentially.
right. So I saw it in IMAX. Josh has not seen it in IMAX. The sound is probably a lot different. This movie was loud as hell. I'm gonna call them. This
All I
movie had several like. This movie had several audio parakeets in it, where it's from the Citizen Kane movie, where the producers, when they were like showing Citizen Kane, they thought that Citizen Kane was too boring. So in the middle of Citizen Kane, there's just a parakeet that just screeches as loud as possible, and that was the producers thinking that the parakeet would wake people up and keep people alert for the movie. And I would say that there's several of those in this movie where it's almost like why is this almost like an audio jump scare, like of this certain part being so loud? Like,
there it
is this a thing we're not paying? Like, it needs to wake us up a little bit. Is it a thing like, they may be lulling to sleep about this? People telling these stories over and over again. So we need to have
the
Agamemnon's wife scream as loud as possible when she's
Yep.
about to stab him, and we need to have all these like super loud things. And I don't know if it was like that in your theater where it was like, holy
yeah,
crap,
but
this
I
is
also
loud.
experienced it, and if there's a few scenes where I was like, okay, the audio here is loud. I would like to see what it was like in IMAX. Like when they were showing the Trojan horse being pulled.
Oh yeah.
That was super loud, and it was a crazy scene. But all I could think about is like, wow, I wish that I was at IMAX and getting my eardrums blown out. And then the other scene was with the Cyclops.
Yeah.
That scene I think would have been much better in IMAX audio wise. Doing some Reddit research, that seems to be a portion that like I missed out on. Like the screeching of the Cyclops wasn't as bad for me. So I'm hoping to go catch the IMAX before long.
Yeah, I would recommend it in IMAX because there are some parts where it feels so big, like just the landscape of it. When they're out in the ocean and stuff, and it's like the storm sequence is literally almost deafening and blinding because the lightning strikes are so like blinding, and then the sound of the storm is so loud where you almost have to like close your eyes and have to be like, I have to disassociate from this as much as possible right now. Otherwise, I'm going to go deaf, dumb, and blind because this is just assaulting me. What are your overall feelings on it? Like, do you think it is a big? Is it as close as to a masterpiece as you would call it in terms of a movie? Because I honestly, I don't care about it being the adaptation of the story. Like, I don't consider it. I wouldn't consider it to be a masterpiece if it was a masterpiece of like, this is a great adaptation of the Odyssey as a story, and if you can just watch this movie instead of read the story, and you'll get all you need. So I don't really know that much about the story. I know like this Simpsons episode like clips, where it's like I know the stories by themselves individually. As far as it being wrapping themselves up into like each part wrapping it up into a bow, I don't really know that much about, and I didn't really know that much about the beginning and the end of like him coming home and him leaving.
Yeah, there was definitely some things that were withheld. As a whole, I thought the adaptation was cool. Going into the movie, it was hard to ignore the discourse surrounding this movie. And it's like I don't really give a shit about any of the societal thoughts on a movie going into it. I just thought that this movie and then like the previous Snow White live action movie, like you would have thought that Snow White, like one that came out a couple of years ago where they made it like it was on 24/7 News Cycle about whether the like the choice of actors and actresses because of their color or orientation was a talking point, and that happened to be a talking point for this film too, which is like, why? It's acting. Like who cares?
Dude, the part of that
like,
made me that made me angry before the movie came out was people talking about like the realism in terms of the armor they would be wearing and the clothes they would be wearing. And it was like,
and it's
what
like,
are we doing
as
here?
they're going to fight a Cyclops,
right.
and like have sirens and giants and
right.
like, oh my god. And so I was just going in completely like, hey, I've heard it's really good, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's not my favorite Christopher Nolan movie. I thought it was exciting to watch, but it's also one of those like I know the end point. So there wasn't like some crazy. I didn't think he was gonna put an M. Night Shyamalan twist on the end, where it was gonna be this crazy twist. I thought it was visually striking for the most part. Acting, I thought the people that I saw were in it, that I knew that were going to be in it, I thought that they did great. I thought Matt Damon was great. I thought Charlize Theron was good. I still don't think. What's Spider-Man's name?
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland. I don't think he's that good of an actor, at least in this movie. And I've been told I need to watch that Euphoria, but Zendaya is not the best actress either in my eyes. At least in this film, I wasn't a huge fan of her. But other people absolutely killed it. I loved the old man, the slave man, the blind man. What's his name? I thought he was great.
John Leguizamo.
I thought that the sound was cool, like you said. It kept me engaged. It wasn't overbearing in my theater. Sounds like it might have been in the IMAX. And it felt like it had pretty good pacing. The first 30 minutes maybe seemed a little slow, but then after that it was like there was just constant importance with every scene. There's not a ton of things that I dislike, but there's nothing like, God, man, there's not that it factor that's making me like, oh, that's better than Interstellar.
Right.
Better than The Prestige. But I like the subject matter, so it automatically bumps up over a couple of his other movies, and I understand it, so it's automatically better than Tenet.
You know what's funny is that I actually think all of the actors were good in this. I actually thought this was like one of the first movies where I thought Tom Holland was good. Like I thought that he actually surprised me. Like he was, I thought.
Oh, and Anne Hathaway was great. I did think Anne Hathaway was great too.
Anne Hathaway was good. See, I thought everybody was pretty good in it. And I'm kind of surprised to hear how many people thought Tom Holland was kind of okay in it and wasn't. Maybe just people just didn't think he was as good as everybody else in it, which is which is fair. There's so many like big parts in this movie. It's like, shoot, it's like you have to go up against every single actor ever, basically. But I thought Tom Holland was actually pretty good in it, and I'm kind of surprised about like this kind of the discourse around it. If there could have been a bigger actor
maybe I
in
just
his
didn't
part.
love the adaptation. Maybe it was just the directing of it, because he's supposed to become the king and have this ascent, heroes like progression into this strong, sturdy king, and he still kind of gets his ass beat even to the very end. Like, yes, he helps win, but there was no like defining moment for me. So maybe it's more of the direction that they took him, less than his acting. You know, I don't know as much about acting, but to me it was like, eh.
I think that honestly that casting though kind of plays a part in how you think about his character. Like, you kind of think about him as being a friendly Spider, like a teenager Spider-Man. You don't think about him as being a man who could take over as a king. And that's the point. That's like a big part, if not the part of his whole character, is that feeling. Right. So I really dug his part in it. This movie was weird because it was like, I could tell that it's a good movie, but it wasn't really thrilling. Like, I didn't really feel thrilled by it. It was a weird where it was like, this is like a really good 3.5 star movie for me, or like and just kind of a good 4-star movie. But it's one where like everybody else in the population is like, this is a 5-star near masterpiece. But there's just something in it where you kind of said it earlier, where to me it just didn't feel like there wasn't like it didn't have that little special lemon twist in it that made it really gripping and thrilling for me. Like, for me personally, like, there was a lot in it where I just felt like things just kind of happened on screen and there wasn't really a point to them. Like, they were just stories that happened in the Odyssey, so we have to do them now because because we're here and we're doing the Odyssey, and we have to include this part in the Odyssey because it's a big part. But I'm not sure what I was supposed to get from it. Like, what are we supposed to get from the Cyclops story? Like, that he was a meanie and shot the arrow?
Original. So I think originally, if I could be wrong, and I'm just going to be lazy and I'll look it up, but I'm pretty sure he more tricks him. Like, they were getting to that, but I think they trick him through language, if I recall. But they have him dress up as sheeps. That might be what they actually did. But I get what you're saying. What about the scene? I also thought that the last scene in particular, especially for Christopher Nolan, who's had such good fighting scenes, I didn't think that
that was weird. The fighting was weird, yeah.
I thought it could have been choreographed much better. The one scene that I thought was really good, and maybe because it was a dark element that I was not necessarily expecting, there's two. It was when they were getting turned into pigs.
Yeah.
I thought that was fantastic.
That was really
I
good.
thought that was really cool. That was a horror element. And then I also liked the horror element in when he goes to Hades.
Oh, yeah, that looked great.
And he talks to Elliot Page. I thought that looked really good. And it got me being like, I kind of want to see Christopher Nolan make a horror movie.
I feel like this was his horror movie in a weird way. Like, this movie basically has an entire genocide of a city, and it has men being turned into pigs. It has giant monsters eating people. It has
with Cronenberg like human gore.
Yeah. It has giants. It has like giant people stabbing you and drowning you. And it has like a witch keeping you on an island forever, feeding you flowers. And you go to see an army of the dead. But it's just done in that really big Christopher Nolan way where it's an interesting thing where he doesn't go over the top with genre. He doesn't go like super gory, and he does like the part with the pigs is a good example because it's a weird part, but it doesn't really like try to cross the line or cross a boundary with the genre of horror. It's just kind of creepy looking. Like, it's not doing all this blood stuff. There's not a part where it's like they actually do kill one of his people and eat them and stuff like that, but it's done it's a very like the genre is just blown up as big as possible in kind of a realistic way without bending too much into it, which is kind of interesting, but sometimes it makes it kind of dulled in a weird way. Like it's almost like he blows it up to such a big to such a big level that there's nothing to really focus on. It's just so big. It's just big. Like there's a part when they're like, "Oh, why didn't we try talking with the Cyclops?" And then someone says, "Well, you don't try talking to ants." And it's like, okay, but I don't pick up ants and eat them when they come into my house.
Right.
And
When they come in, right.
And they're like as big. They're not ant sized to him. They're like as big as like they go up to his ankle. You know, so it's almost like, you know, they're as big as like a kitten or something. A mouse. Yeah, they're as big as a mouse.
Kitten, yeah.
I don't just randomly eat them. Like, you know what I mean? In a weird, ghoulish way. Also, let me ask you this. Is there a difference between saying they're in a time of magic versus in a time of apparent magic? Like, why does he say in a time of apparent magic instead of in a time of magic? Is apparent magic supposed to is in a time of apparent magic? Does that mean is that supposed to be meaning like, you know, all of our stories of old and all? It's interesting. All of our human stories of old and fables of like, you know, from year zero and before year zero, they all have tons of magic in them, and they all have tons of supernatural beings, supernatural things. Like they're not realistic. Like they. Sorry, I just hit my desk. But they're not like there's zero stories from that era that are trying to delve into realism. And there's so much magic all over the place in those stories. But so I just want, it's a weird thing where it's like, what's the difference there in just saying in a time of magic versus in a time of apparent? Where apparent magic is that just because it's almost like if you read those stories as reports.
Yeah,
you would say apparently there was magic back then. Like shit.
Right. Well, it's supposed to be their account, so it's like it's Odysseus's account of the Odyssey.
Oh, okay.
And like I believe it's because he's retelling.
So it is
the
like his
story
report,
of
basically.
The tribe. Yeah, and so it's like apparent magic, and it's like, was there actually Cyclops, and was there actually this, or is this just how he's kind of like, was it the Life of Pi, where it turns out that it's humans instead of tigers?
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I also could be completely wrong and just misremembering the Odyssey. But yeah, I totally agree with you. And the one thing I did like, and I thought that was weird too, it was just an interesting thing to take away, is the thought of like them being aware of the golden age going away. Just felt like kind of in Family Guy, like, oh, he said it. Basically that the golden way of by the way of Zeus or whatever is no more, and that we're in a new age of like the way of old is gone, and the kindness of Zeus is gone.
Sure.
Seems kind of cheesy for Christopher Nolan, but what do I know? So what did you like about this?
I'm just saying that how come whenever they encounter the Cyclops and those other monsters, they aren't going, "Oh my God, what is that thing? Is that a real life monster?"
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
What is that?
And or like even with when he finds out that he's been taking Lotus forever and has basically been stuck there for years on end, he's not like, what the fuck? You basically kidnapped me. Like, catch these hands, yo. He's like, yeah. Shit happens, right?
Catch these hands.
So yeah, I agree. I get what you mean.
Yeah, it was just it was weird because it was the things I knew the most about the Odyssey were those stories, like his literal Odyssey, not his. I didn't really know that much about him leaving. I didn't really know that much about him coming back. But the things that I liked the most were him leaving and him coming back. Like I didn't
Right.
the setup and the payoffs, like him coming back and being like, oh, the bow, this whole like the bow thing is going to be how he proves that it's him back. Like it's going to be the way that he proves himself to everybody that he's who he says he is. And when Argus recognizes him, I thought that was a good Tom Holland scene when Tom Holland realizes that he's Odysseus is because Argus recognizes him. I thought that was a good scene. And I liked all of that stuff a lot more than, oh no, there's some monsters coming our way. Quick, run away. Oh no, where they're killing us.
You've seen that.
Like that's it. That's the middle of the movie.
Watch Godzilla. Yeah.
It's so weird. Like, what was the point? Like, what's the point of it other than, okay, we have all of these soldiers. Only Odysseus can make it home. How do we kill them all? Like, what are the soldiers supposed to be learning? I mean, not that they have to be learning anything. It can just be cool action scenes. But it's the thing where it's like,
to be not
what am I supposed to get from
it?
it? Like, it's a cool visual, but I was like, I'm just kind of like, okay. Like, they just got stabbed to death, and I'm kind of just like, all right, I guess they got stabbed to death now. I guess this is just the scene where they all have to die. And also, when they go into her house,
it's like
when they go into the witch's house. What? Toodaloo?
I didn't say anything. I didn't say Toodaloo.
Yes, you did. I just heard it say, well, Toodaloo.
Toodaloo what?
Toodaloo. You just said it. I heard it come through plain as day.
No, I'm not saying Toodaloo. Toodaloo what? I'm not saying anything.
Then where did that come from?
I don't know. Are you hearing things? I haven't said Toodaloo once besides asking you. I haven't said Toodaloo.
Dang. Okay.
Is there something in that Coke, buddy?
I wish. It would probably make it taste way better than how bad this fucking tastes. Anyway, the part when they get the witch and she's like feeding them, changing them into pigs, they weren't really ransacking her house that bad. Like they weren't really pushing it over.
They weren't like that.
Stealing her shit. Like they were just kind of like tired and kind of like being like, is there any food around here? But it wasn't really the worst thing. So it's kind of like, I don't really know what. I guess maybe some people felt thrilled by those scenes. I didn't feel that thrilled, and I saw when I saw it the second time, I was like, I'm trying to get something here, but I'm just not getting. I'm not really getting that much.
They didn't tear up the house like even the dwarfs do in Lord of the Rings. Like they were like, oh yeah, we'll sit at the table.
You mean
not going into the pantry and be like bread, wine, in The Hobbit.
In The Hobbit, yeah, in The Hobbit. Yeah, but I'll tell you something. This movie had a really funny effect on all the people I saw it with, where it was like, everybody who I saw it with, I swear to God, had like 3 scenes where they jumped like 2 feet out of their chair because of the audio parakeets, where it was like,
was it the Nicole Kidman? Was it when Nicole Kidman told them that they make movies better?
They're like, oh, yeah, the witch is still here. You know what's funny? I bet Nicole Kidman auditioned for the Calypso part, the Charlize Theron part.
Oh,
I bet she auditioned for that. But you know what's funny though is that I thought you were gonna say it was about that the Other Mommy trailer. Did that play in front of your movie? It's the movie with Jessica Chastain where she plays like the mom, and then she also plays like a ghost mom. She plays like the double.
Oh, yes.
Dude, yeah. In my theater, so many people jumped out of their seat when that trailer happened. And there was like that jump scare. That was so funny. There was like this kid sitting next to me at the first time must have been like 15 or 16 or something, and he must have jumped like 3 feet out of his chair. It was so funny.
It's exciting though. It's this movie is the first movie since Barbie and Oppenheimer that like I'm hearing uh the just random people talk about movies that never talk. Like, hey, I went this weekend and I went and saw the Odyssey. Nobody is like, hey, I went and saw the new Spider-Man. Like, I'm not gonna have a random coworker that talks about Spider-Man, but people are talking about Odyssey.
Yeah, that's true. And it being sold out as much as it has been, and sold out being it's sold out the most expensive tickets. Like it's not being sold
Yeah.
out $5 ticket Tuesdays. It's being sold out like premiere night IMAX. Each ticket is gonna cost you $15. Like sold out in a big way, which is super interesting. And I know we kind of you mentioned it earlier, but there was a I remember in high school when we had to learn the hero's journey, but we didn't study the full
Mhm.
Odyssey, right? I swear to God, it was like just sections from
I
it
think
or
we
something.
did parts. We might have had to read it. I don't quite recall the whole thing, but I mean I was familiar enough that I recalled most of this story.
So you knew
But
at the end came back and reclaimed his throne,
yeah,
essentially.
yeah.
How did you like
Um,
Travis Scott in it?
to be completely honest with you, we went to tiebreakers before the movie
Uh-huh.
because I went with a few friends, and they were cutting it. We were cutting it really close, and literally we were getting to our seats as Travis Scott was talking. So to be honest, I was like getting my popcorn settled, and I missed what
Oh, no
Travis
kidding,
Scott
really?
said. I looked up and go, "Oh shit, it's Travis Scott," and then he was done.
You know what's interesting is my favorite part of the movie was I think my favorite part of the movie was when John Bernthal was retelling the story of how they took Troy, and he was retelling
Yeah,
the
that was
story
cool.
of their perspective inside the horse, and
That
that was the most exciting part to me. And
that'd have been awesome in the 4XD where they spray the water at you.
they make you
Did you
they
know
make
that
you
he
go into
almost
the
like
horse in that.
supposedly he actually like froze during the shooting of that. Like it was super duper cold in there, and John Bernthal like
It was cold.
let me see. Vamp talk.
Okay, so it was cold in there, and what happened to him? He got frostbite? Is that what you're saying to me right now?
Suppose I had heard somewhere in an interview that he would. Yeah, here you go. While filming Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, John Bernthal endured brutal conditions inside a 40-foot wooden Trojan horse. He was left neck deep and shivering in freezing tide-fed coastal water. Yeah, so basically it was a nothing burger. He didn't get sick, except it's like, oh man, he's really fighting for this scene.
Oh, okay.
And then they're like, wow, John's tough because it's so cold in there. Here's $5 million for making this movie.
It's cold in there, man. It's cold in there. Yeah, that was. But I also really like that part when they were taking Troy when the guy throws when Odysseus throws the lamp over the wall, and you don't see anything at all because
That
it's
is
pitch
cool,
black
and
and it lights up like the lamp bursts on the ground and it lights up the whole army basically, like the whole army has shown up at the front door, but you can't tell. That part was pretty good.
That was like made me feel like we were playing. What's that game we were playing? Arc Raiders, and I came upon some random people. And I was like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna throw a grenade at them, and then they all scurry, and then I die.
What was your favorite part?
I also thought, and I mentioned it earlier upon replay. I thought that when they go to Hades was my favorite part, which also is pretty funny because, like, that's also the biggest fu to right wing media because it was Elliot Page in that scene, which I honestly couldn't even tell that it was Elliot Page, but it was his character for that scene. But I thought that was cool. I thought it was dark, a cool adaptation of hell, kind of felt like the space that it occurred felt like that in between zone that
Yeah.
The fights in Marvel and DC happen in. Like oh, we're just in some giant like flat field with the odd colors that aren't natural.
Uh-huh.
So maybe they went to that studio in Hollywood.
Yeah, I didn't
the-
realize
the
you could just sail
Marvel
there.
in between zone. Yeah, into just Hades. Yeah, it's pretty crazy, isn't it?
You can just be like, oh, we got to
I
go
thought-
sail to like Limbo right quick to do this. It's just right over there. Just
That's
keep
what it-
sailing.
That's what it's like going to Florida.
We're going to go into a dark place. Not many of us are going to be able to make it out. It was, yeah. But
So you said you give this a 3.5 or a 4. I go 4, 4.5.
it's really tough because I could give it, for me, it's a 3.5 star, but it's a really good 3.5 star. Like, if you told somebody, like, yeah, it's probably 3.5 stars, and then they watched it, they'd be like, what are you talking about? That's really good. But if you told somebody it's like a 4-star, like, it's a good 4-star movie, they would understand it.
They're not.
It's like,
and they're
yeah,
not
it's
gonna
a 4-star.
question you about it.
Like, yeah, but that's for me. Like, because I didn't find a lot of this. I didn't find a lot of it to be that thrilling. Like, I was just kind of like, okay, this is happening. Fine.
Do you put
But
it
I
in
really
his
dug
top
the
6
ending.
movies?
What was that?
Do you put it in his top 6 movies?
No. Maybe 6. I would have to think about it. Maybe if it's in his top
That's
5,
what
it's
I'm kinda
5.
thinking.
If it's in his top 5, it's 5 for me, or like 6. Because I know 3 movies that it's better than, in my opinion. But with what other one of his has been creeping up for me that I think is getting better and better every time I watch it is Dunkirk. Every time I rewatch Dunkirk, I think it gets better. Like it just
Dunkirk.
yeah, I like it a lot.
That's a rare war film that I like.
Because it's a
that
survival
was it
movie. It's not like a war movie. It's like
1917. I thought that movie was cool too.
That movie made me so mad when I saw it. That movie bothered me. But it was because they lied in the trailer. They lied in that damn trailer. These movies be lying with their trailers, dude.
That it was gonna be a single shot.
Well, no, I don't care about that. But there's a part near the end where it was like in the trailer when he's running over the trench. This is in the movie 1917, by the way. When he's running over the trench, in the trailer they have it being like all the other soldiers are giving out this war cry, and it's like the war cry just gets louder and louder as he's running across because like the amount of soldiers that are coming up out of the trench and charging
Right.
are getting more. There's more and more of them, and it's this awesome like battle cry moment. In the movie, they have this super loud like Hans. It's probably not Hans Zimmer, but they have this super loud music going on at that time, and it's just like, oh, in the trailer, this scene was much better because it didn't have
Yeah.
like this big cliche music sting happening at the same time. Yeah, so that I don't know why I was just like, why didn't you just leave it like how it was in the trailer? The trailer had it just fine. And by the way, they did this exact same thing. Not really, but they do a thing just like this. And this Spider-Man trailer, had this one scene in the trailer where you thought, oh, that's going to be an awesome scene in the movie. But when you get to it in the movie, what you see in the trailer, that's it. That's as much as you see in the movie. So you're like, oh, I thought that was going to be a big action scene, but it's just a 1 second montage scene that they can put in a trailer. Like in Thor Ragnarok, when they had the whole Valkyrie flight, and it was like, oh, all these Valkyries are going to be flying with their horses against Hela.
And they don't.
And then it's just like, oh, this is what you had in the movie. Like there wasn't a bigger action scene. This is what it was, and you just were able to put all of it into the trailer because it's only 5 seconds. I thought this was going to be a big action scene, but it's not a big action scene. It's just what you could cut into a trailer. So these Marvel movies be doing this in the trailers too, okay? Anyway.
Welcome to and that was Chase's complaint corner.
I got a big
And,
corner coming up when we do Spider-Man, dude.
Speaking of Spider-Man, I can't forget. I'll forget this by the time we go and watch it. But did you see the Reddit post today about how Disney paid? I think it's BMW to when they turn on their car, it's either BMW or Audi. Whenever people turn on their car, their entertainment system plays the Spider-Man ad for that car. Like
in
they
real
pay
life?
for
Like in real life,
in
when you
real
turn on your
life.
BMW, it plays Spider-Man ad? You know what's funny? You said that in the Spider-Man movie, there's a giant
Yep,
BMW billboard.
Yep. Many BMW owners are being shown banner ads and promotional videos for Spider-Man on their control display upon starting their car.
That's insane.
Crazy.
That's insane that car companies are putting commercials into their cars. That's actually
Shove it,
crazy.
Feige.
There's a
Feige and Disney.
You know what's funny
Shove
though
it.
is that I noticed that in the movie there's a part where there's just a giant BMW at like billboard in it, and you're like, I'm fine with product placement, but
Why don't they
sometimes you notice it more than you
promote realistic things? Like, why don't they be like, oh, sick, Spider-Man's driving a 2015 Toyota Corolla.
Well, that's just real. That's not a product. That's not brand new product. That's old product. He's not going to advertise grenadine and RC Cola, dude. He's not gonna advertise RC Cola with grenadine. Okay, he's gonna advertise the brand new, zero sugar, Coca-Cola, cherry pomegranate apple burst, blah blah blah. You know, with extra.
So who wins? Who wins awards for this movie?
Ooh, that's interesting.
Because I bet you that there won't be actually there could be.
Anne Hathaway supporting or best actress? Is Anne Hathaway supporting actress in this or best?
Best actress, Charlize Theron will be nominated for supporting, which is crazy. But it's gonna happen, and then I think it'll be Matt Damon and Robert Pattinson.
Is Robert Pattinson is supporting?
Yeah.
I like that. See, this is one of those movies to me where it's like, I would never ever vote for this for Oscars. Like, this is the best. Like, this is the best. This is what we got. We think this is the best, as good as like all this other best supporting stuff in the past. I wouldn't. But if you're just thinking about this year, like by itself, like what else could even be this year? Then yes. Like 100%, especially when it's as big as it is.
That it's the combination of it being super big and like, a pretty good movie, it's bound to win. We've had this, what qualifies as the best picture.
Right.
I think it's going to be nominated, and unless something crazy comes out, I think it's going to win.
Dude, freaking the Oscars still surprised though. Freaking Amy Madigan winning for Gladys and Weapons was shocking to me.
Yeah,
like that was shocking.
So will The Obsession be up for movie awards too?
It has to be
this year. Because I
bet Nikki would be.
I think we've kind of wrapped the bow on the Odyssey. Would you agree?
Say that again. It kind of cut out for me.
Have we wrapped the bow on the Odyssey?
You know what? There's so many bigger parts to talk about in the Odyssey that we may have skipped over. Like we didn't really talk about Robert Pattinson that much, and he was a big part of it. But I thought he was good, and I think
he's a great actor.
I thought that he was. It's odd because sometimes like when the movie was happening, it was like anytime during his actual Odyssey, you're kind of like, all right, when are we going to get back to Matt Damon now? Like, when are we gonna get? Like, I don't care about Robert Pattinson talking to Anne Hathaway, like making her quilt or whatever. But then when it ends, it's so funny. Good. Yeah. Then when you get to the ending, it's so good. And then when Matt Damon is using the double axes, and he's spinning around the double axes that are like duct taped together. That is so funny. Like he's using them like how a 10-year-old would use nunchucks or something, where he's just like holding them out. It looks so ridiculous, but it's so funny. See, it sucks because I really hate to be like, this is just me being another like, it's just this big movie that everybody likes. Actually, I didn't like it that much. Which is not, which isn't really the case. I liked it. I just really wish I liked it a lot. Like I really, really wanted to really, really, really like it, and I think it may have just been the subject material that I just didn't care for. Like
maybe it'll be a movie that'll grow on you. Like
that's true. Like Dunkirk. You know what though? Have you seen like I was thinking about this when I saw this, but it was this is kind of like an Oppenheimer. It's more directly related to Oppenheimer than you might think, where it's kind of about like the trickster man who builds a weapon. Like the Trojan horse is like the first notable like weapon of war in a weird way. It's like it's like almost like the Trojan horse was almost like the first atom bomb in a weird sense. Like I don't even know if that's right how to describe it, where it's like it's not about the destructive force, it's more about like the story of the story it creates and how it was just a weapon of war technically. And how we've always remembered it, and just to be like, always look out for it. You know what I mean? Like, always look out for this Trojan horse, and always watch out for signs of atomic bomb, and even though it's only, they're both things that were only used once, or not once, but as far as I know, only in one instance in history. I don't know if anybody else. Do you think anybody else was like, hey, they used a giant wooden horse, 50 years ago in this one thing, and I don't think news has reached over here yet. Let's build our own wooden horse.
Or do you think it was like nuclear bombs? Like, there was reports that like other countries were trying to, I think that Germany was maybe trying to develop nuclear bombs. Like, I don't think it was completely, or like Russia maybe.
Right.
Like, do you think that there was other nations at the time and they were racing to build the Trojan horse, like the first one? Damn it, they beat us to the punch.
The Germans
and now they have
building
like
their own horse. They have their best.
They have a Trojan
They have their best
horse
carpenters on the island working on it.
They have assumed destruction, like Trojan horse proliferation, like they do with nuclear war, like nuclear proliferation, like the control or whatever. Anyways,
that's a pretty big. That Trojan horse is a pretty big, specific, like specialized statue thing to create on a beach. Like, did they just have a bunch of carpenters there and like specialty tools to make that? Like, how did they actually make that?
The whole isn't the whole idea that they'd also been there for like years, just waiting to get in.
Yeah, he said that they've been on that beach for like 10 years or so. That's crazy.
Like,
and I'm kind of interested in that.
You don't think anyone in the crew's like, you're building a horse? Couldn't we build like, I don't know, a box? Couldn't we build a big ladder and go over the fence?
Why don't we just wait at night and then just put a bunch of ladders up? Why do we have to go in as a horse?
Why don't you just there's magic. Why don't you just invent a gun?
I was just about to say that. I was about to say, how about we just get a gun, okay? Why are we complicating this?
Yeah.
All we need is some gunpowder and a ball. That's all we need. Yeah, it's.
Oh God.
As of right now, as of what I'm saying, I think the Odyssey was good. I wouldn't go preaching it's. I wouldn't go preaching it from the rooftops as it's one of the best movies I've ever seen. I wanted to go preaching it from the rooftops as saying, "Wow, everybody, jump what you're doing! This is amazing. This is all this is amazing."
It's a
and
movie
everything.
You've seen. Okay,
but it's good. It's good. You would recommend it.
Okay, so, for 100%, and I think it's an experience, and I think that going to movies is something that I encourage people to do. Like a lot of my friends, the first movie they've seen in a long time in theaters was with me. Just trying to get people to spend money on the arts, essentially. I mean, trying to support it, because if people don't support it, they're gonna stop doing it. Totally, because this movie, because of how popular and well received this movie is, I'm gonna recommend other people go see it. But like, I'd rather people go watch Obsession or like smaller budget movies, like create cool
everybody
creative
saw
shit
Obsession,
that's
dude.
being
Don't
made.
worry about it.
I know it, but you know what I mean. Like, I'm just excited. Like shit, I tell people go watch Spider-Man. I mean, I don't really want Disney to get rich and then keep making this terrible slop where they mess up my X-Men, but like, I just want people to go to movies, man.
I would tell people not to go to Spider-Man. Or if you go to Spider-Man, can you at least think about it and not just be like clapping because Spider-Man is a character? Let me just say this: Watchmen,
Spider-Man.
the movie Watchmen was the movie Watchmen was right. Like, people worship Spider-Man more than they worship Jesus Christ. Like, people worship Spider-Man, and they just love Spider-Man for some reason. People really, really, really love Spider-Man, and I don't get it. It's not from a place for me where it's like I don't like Spider-Man. It's more that to me, he's just a normal movie character. But to other people, Spider-Man means a lot more to them than just a normal character. Spider-Man is like an extension of themselves. Like, people would call Spider-Man their hero. Like, in real life, people would be like, one of my heroes, it's the fictional character Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
Like, people would, I'm not
dude,
kidding about that.
I was just talking to somebody. I don't disagree. I was just talking with somebody that was going to see it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, Spider-Man has played a pretty big part of my life," and it's like, nice.
Yeah, it's weird because it's...
So like what you're saying.
It's funny, too, because you could think of it in a weird way where it's like, oh, I bet, for somebody who's born in, like, 2010 or 2009, where they're, like, 15 or 16 now, they've had, like, Spider-Man movies. Spider-Man is the movies. Whenever they think about movies, They think of Spider-Man. Like, Spider-Man is basically their Bond of how big it was when they were, like, going. But the thing is that we had that, too. Like, we had the earlier Spider-Man movies with Tobey Maguire, and so it's not like you or I didn't have Spider-Man for a long time, and then all of a sudden we had, like, 10 Spider-Man movies come out in 20 years, Like, we had Spider-Man movies growing up as well, but I never felt that way about Spider-Man as being, like, such an important part of my life and such a big part of my life, and doing that. Which is interesting because I always think that it's never that there's always a singular hero. For me, it's always like, I always like the group, the X-Men group, like, and not really singling out one of the heroes. For me, I just like the X-Men group of movies. Like, I just like that team up. But I wouldn't say that.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say that, like, that's just what I like the most. I wouldn't say that they're a very important part of my life and that I would call them my heroes or do anything like that. It would just be like, I like X-Men, and that's, for some reason, I get more defensive and more touchy about X-Men than Spider-Man. But there's millions and millions and millions more people. Like, 99% of people would feel that way about Spider-Man more than X-Men. And I'm just wondering why Spider-Man has kind of been singled out by that character by himself. You know what I mean? Like, it's just interesting to me. But I would still tell people not to go see this new one because it made me mad. But I do think this year is the year, you kind of said it earlier. This year is the year where it's like people are, like, it used to be kind of before this year. It's like 2024 and earlier. It used to be if you were a small indie movie that was really good, people still wouldn't really go out to the movie theaters to go see you. Like, you kind of had to build it up. Like, I mean, even a hit, like a Godzilla -1, kind of, or like a The Substance.
Yeah.
Even Anora, which won Best Picture, stuff like that. It wouldn't be like, oh, it's not even close to the level of the Backrooms or Obsession, where those movies are budgeted for Obsession was a budget of under $1 million, I believe, and Backrooms is probably like 10 to 20, and those movies have made hundreds of millions of dollars easily. And those are like, just word of mouth movies essentially. It's not like they don't really have that.
Right.
I mean, Backrooms is an established lore and an established
I still
story
haven't
for
seen
years
that.
or whatever, but it's like somehow this is the year somehow that all these kind of smaller movies somehow are just making hundreds of millions. And it kind of reminds me of like the 90s years of the 90s. I mean, the Sixth Sense. The Sixth Sense was M. Night Shyamalan's quote unquote first big movie. He had made a movie before that, but it was about like he was the star of it, and it was like he was directing himself, he was starring in it himself, and it was about like him rediscovering his old village in India or something, like where his grandparents are from or something, right? But The Sixth Sense was his first big Hollywood movie. And that movie, like, nobody knows who M. Night Shyamalan is. People don't really know what the story is. But the thing is that the movie ends up being so good, and the word of mouth about it is so good, that it was the only thing that beat it in box office that year was The Phantom Menace. So it took Star Wars to beat out like a first-time movie ever made by, a first big Hollywood movie. You know what I mean? Where it's almost like this year, it's like
Yeah.
It takes a Christopher Nolan movie and a Spider-Man movie to beat out movies that were made for under $1 million. Do you know what I mean? Which is kind of an interesting thing that would not have happened in like 3 years ago, when people still wouldn't want to go to movies that much. So it's a really interesting landscape right now, I think, but it's kind of dominated by like 4 movies right now. So I'm curious to see where we will be when the year ends. Like what stuff will be coming out in December, and what we will be talking about then.
I'm just excited that there's been multiple movies in the last year that people that don't talk to me about movies have talked about. So, and even like the Wicked sensation got a lot of people to go to movies that weren't going before. Doesn't mean that I support AMC charging $15 for a box of popcorn. That's insane. Anyways, any
Dude,
any
I swear to God,
thoughts?
I want to outlaw food at movie theaters so bad. Just stop eating
Because
all
of how
that. Just
loud
stop
people
eating
are?
by my ear, dude. Like, does everybody in my row have to get a pizza? Does everybody in my row have to get nachos? And like 2 hours into the movie, people are still opening up their candy, and you can hear all the ice being slushed around.
Popcorn.
What the hell is going on?
Popcorn and candy are gone by the time previews are over. If you're talking to me, like I can eat a large popcorn in like 25 minutes.
It's so easy to eat your whole bag within the previews. It's so easy. I remember having to, like, when I was a teenager, just having to I had to put the popcorn down. Like, I would have to put the popcorn in the seat next to me, or I had to like put the bag between my knees on the ground because I would eat it all. Like, if I didn't put it down, it would be gone by the time the movie starts. And I'd be like, dang, the movie's kind of starting. I have nothing to nibble on. But now that I'm older, the only things that a movie theater should sell for food is like a tiny like bag of popcorn that's like the handheld bag, and then cans of soda, and that's it. But they should be priced like $2 and $3, and that's it. Get all this massive kitchenware out of here. Like, I don't want to hear all this damn snacking. Especially if you go to a movie where all these old people are, if you go to a movie like Pressure with Brendan Fraser,
they go crazy,
and Andrew Scott, where it's about the weather before Normandy, and they just argue about what the weather is going to be before Normandy, but it's a World War II drama. So there's the movie is full of old people. Dude, the old people smell mixed with stale popcorn smell and mixed with buttery popcorn is horrendous. It smells so bad, where you just want to leave. You're like, oh my God, this is like a field trip from an old person's home. Like, an old person's home had a field trip to see this movie. I don't belong in here. I don't belong with this smell. You know, the smell is gonna get into my skin and infest me. Like I'm gonna be smelling like old person smell way too long. And I just can't do it. And they're sneezing and sniffling the whole time. And by the way, old people be on their phones as much as young people in movies. I don't know if you've noticed that. Old people are on their phones the whole movie. Old people like in their 70s are on their phones wondering when their kids are going to text them about lunch, when their kids are going to text them about when they're going to come pick them up for next weekend so that they can see their grandparent, or when they can see their grandkids so they'll know where to take their grandkids for lunch. Their alarms go off. Old people forget to turn off their alarms in movies. So you have all these 70-year-old people trying to get their phones out while the alarm is happening. And it's like, do these old people not remember how it was for 50, 60 years when they were in their prime? Just turn that shit off.
Lauren and I went to, let's see, what movie did we go to? Oh, when we saw Project Hail Mary in theaters, a lady took a call in the theater.
You told me about that. That was so funny.
It was bad. It was bad. Well, that was a fun talk, and I'm glad that we did this again. Needs to be more regular. Now that I, with the upcoming move, I'm gonna get the AMC pass, so I'm gonna start going. And
oh yeah, dude, the AMC pass is so worth it. Like you get your money back for sure if you go see like.
It's my drive is going from like 25 minutes to the movie theater to like 10.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, so it'll be a lot better, and like. Shoot, you see 2 movies and it's worth it. So,
I'll say this right quick before we wrap it up. We kind of forgot how good Project Hail Mary was. Like, it kind of came out so early this year. It kind of came out like March or something, late February or March maybe. But dude, that movie was good, and I think it was that this Odyssey, Spider-Man Obsession, and Backrooms like. Summer to early summer kind of made us forget about that movie a little bit. But that movie was good, and I think people will be reminded about how good that movie actually was when the Oscars happen. Because I bet that movie will win a few.
Hopefully. Anyways. Till next time, what do you want to do next? Spider-Man?
It depends on when you see. Depends on if you see Spider-Man. Because, dude, you know what? If you see Spider-Man, I honestly, when I was watching it today, I saw Spider-Man today. By the way, folks, when I was watching it today, I was thinking to myself, boy, if Josh has seen this, the way that I feel about this movie is already double the amount. I know I can talk about it like 2 hours longer than I can about the Odyssey. It's just how I feel about Spider-Man. I'm excited. And just like. It just like I like the Odyssey is one of this crazy big movie. I feel like I don't have a crazy amount to say about the Odyssey for some reason. But you
this
Spider-Man?
gotta hate on my Marvel movies,
dude. This Spider-Man. Oh my god!
It's that good. It's that good.
I am curious to see what you will say about it. Because in short, I thought it was convoluted. Like unnecessarily complex, and they were trying to juggle way too many things at once, and none of it really ended up mattering anyway. Hey, remember
in Hulk and Spider-Man?
Remember when in Brand New Day how he was like, oh my god, like I'm never really gonna be able to interact with my friends again. Like they don't know me. I'm a stranger to them.
That's like the whole plot of the movie.
In this movie, Josh, he just reintroduces himself to them. Yeah, turns out. Yeah, so it's just like, okay, that was just worthless.
We already learned in the movies, in the Marvel movies, that actions don't have consequences. Like we've brought back half of the population. Those movies are a farce. That's why DC is supreme. Long live Batman.
In this movie, there's a point where somebody in a classroom asks Bruce Banner. She asks him, why didn't Thanos just create infinite resources for people if he was scared about the population?
Ooh, good. That's a good question.
And you have to like go, and you have to go, why are we still bringing this up? And how come we're not asking questions like, hey, how come what happened in the Eternals movie that happened here on Earth and there's a giant robot in the ocean? How come nobody's talking about that? How come nobody's talking about all these massive events that happened in these other movies?
Yep, and my complaining, and I still think it's stupid, is I thought the Eternals was kind of good.
Me too.
Except the fact that you could see the celestial being from space. It's the scale. So, like, you could literally see, they have, like, a zoomed-out picture of the globe of the Earth,
right.
And you can see the celestial. But then, like, it's confined to a single beach. Like,
like it's sticking out of the ocean, when in reality it would be, like, half the planet.
It would be, like, the size of Iowa. Yeah. But I know it's just because of filming limitations, but still. Anyways.
And nobody in the Spider-Man movies that came out after talk about it. They're never just like, hey, what was up with that giant robot that took up half the sky like 2 years ago? Oh, okay, nothing happened. Oh, okay. I guess we were all sleeping.
Also, you know that there's, like, some Thanos, like, stands out there. Well, I guess they do kind of talk about that in one of the Disney shows about the people that, like, want to bring back the blip.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Thanos cult kind of sounds go hard.
I've long gave up on Marvel, and that I just know that it's just slop, and I'm gonna watch it anyways, and I'm gonna complain about it. And then when the next big fun superhero movie comes out, I'm gonna be like, I guess I'll go see it, and then I'll watch it a bunch. So yeah. Anyways,
yeah.
All right. Good talks. See ya.
All right, see you, everybody.
Bye.